Hi, it's Dr. Darnese. Welcome back into another episode at the salon here. And I wanted to come on since it's the beginning of a new year. Here we're at the beginning of 2025 and talk to you a bit about why resolutions don't seem to work, why manifesting doesn't seem to work. That you can find videos and teachings about the law of attraction and manifesting all over the place. And, many of you have probably tried some things. You've had a help, kept a positive mindset. You've maybe journaled. You've written your affirmations, all that kind of good stuff. But then you're wondering, but I don't know. I don't think that it really works. It doesn't work for me. What's going on? And so I wanted to talk to you today about really what is the missing key. The missing key is not how much you write it down, how much you try to stay on the high vibe, right? I talk a lot about being on the high vibe because it does help. All of these things really help. But here's the key, and I'm going to keep it um, short and sweet for you. Here's the key. Most people, most of us humans are stuck. We're attached to our old ways of thinking and our old ways of being and doing. Now, you could just stop watching the video right there because that's really it. And you might say, if you're still listening, what do you mean? We all grew up with certain ideas given to us by our families, our family unit, our communities, our schools, our churches. They gave us a certain worldview that was considered normal. And so many of us grew up with the idea that, you got to work hard, money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe relationships are hard. Maybe you saw your parents divorce or, never married in the first place or whatever it was. You got a certain type of message about life, about money, about relationships, about whether happiness was even possible, right? Some people inherited the idea like, life is just hard and it doesn't work out for anybody unless you're among the super rich. So I would ask you to really think about what are the lessons that you learned from way back when that are still showing up in your life right now? Because those things have to be brought to the surface, up out of the unconscious mind, so you can look at them and say, wait, do I really believe this anymore? Is this really serving me at my highest level anymore? Because likely, no, right? Likely, there are some things where you're circling the block, having the same type of relationship over and over, having the same type of work life over and over, the same money set point over and over. You don't know why you can't quite get to the next level. Well, you look at somebody else and, things seem to be working really well for them. From the outside, it looks like they've got everything working smoothly. They probably have a different mindset than you do about what's possible. A lot of times we don't have a mindset that allows good things to be possible for us. I remember, when the Obamas were in the White House, and for many Black people, they looked at the Obamas and said, well, that would never be me. Like, I don't have what they have. I don't come from where they come from. Yeah, it's great, for them, but I can't relate to them. We are so different. That would never happen for me. But when you think about where Michelle and Barack actually started from, where they came from, neither of them came from families with a silver spoon. Neither of them came from any type of circumstance that would have said to them as children or teenagers, y'all going to end up being in the White House. So, for many people, if you can't really relate to it, if you can't see it for yourself, you can't get there. At some point, the Obamas, it began to come into some type of frame for them. Hey, this thing is shifting in such a way that looks like Barack said, okay, I'm going to be a state senator, and then I'm going to be a U.S. senator. Wow, it's looking like, right? So a new vision started to come into center for them, and it began to be something that they could actually get to. They didn't start off that way, but they learned, they got into a certain sort of set of synchronicities, and then new opportunities began to open up. Now, I use them as an example, but I can think of, if you remember when the Cosby Show started in the 1980s, I guess it was, if you're old enough, a lot of Black people said the same thing about the Cosbys. Oh, that's not real. right? Because Claire and Cliff Huxtable, they're a lawyer and a doctor. That's not real, which meant there's a mindset that said, I look at that and I don't see that that's where I could be. That's not real for Black people. And that lets you know if you have that type of response when you see other people doing things, if what comes to mind is, that's not real, that can't happen, that couldn't be me, that's letting you know that your mindset is set in such a place where you're right, that could never be you. But if you change your mindset and say, you know what, I'm open, at least say something like, I'm open to all possibilities. I don't have to know how. Here's a key. We don't even have to know how. Here's something that I integrated just a little while ago. I mean, I knew it, I heard it, I read it a million times. It's not our job to figure out how to make more money. It's not our job to figure out how to have a better relationship. That's not the work. Where is the work? The work is on what conflicting thoughts do I already have that are preventing me from having the money that I say I want, that are preventing me from having the relationship that I say I want. I really want you to get that. We spin our wheels because we think that we have to figure out the how to. Let me get another degree. Let me get a different job. Let me divorce my spouse and get another one. And you find yourself, oh, I just circled the block because I'm kind of right back where I was. Why? Because the old thought patterns are still there and still doing what they did before. They're still limiting us. So that's why I say the work is go back and really get in touch with what those thoughts are. How are you limiting yourself? How are you blocking your own blessings? What can you do to start shifting those old thoughts? One thing that I suggest you do is you in your journal, get a just plain piece of paper. Get a plain piece of paper, put the topic at the top. Let's say it's worldview on money or relationships or whatever it is. On one side of the paper, let's say on the left side of the paper, you put what you feel like you're dealing with, right? Is it scarcity, not enough, no good men, no good women out there, whatever it is, put that on the left side. Then draw an arrow from each one and put what you actually want. Because when you start thinking about, wow, these are the limiting thoughts that I've had for so long, I didn't even realize that I still had that. And then when you draw the arrow and you say, well, what I'm trying to achieve is over here on the right side, then you can start saying, okay, this is what I need to focus on instead of allowing my mind to just keep going back, revolving back to the scarcity. Because left alone, that's what your mind is going to do. It's going to make up stories, it's going to make up horror stories. So why not let it make up a grand story for you like, oh, there's more than enough. I've always had enough. I have enough now. I will always have enough. I've always had enough. I have enough now. I will always have enough. And you might be saying, but I don't have enough. Well, really? Enough. Some people may say, I don't have enough to eat. Does your need get met on a daily basis? Does something happen where somehow you survive from one day to the next, from one year to the next? Something happens and you're still here, right? The universe is providing you for you at a certain level. Now, if you want to do something about that level, that's what I'm asking you. Do you want to transform that? This is for my people who want to transform from where they have been to a new place, to a new vision for what they want. And what I'm asking you to really do, because here's the work. I need to go back and figure out where I'm having a toxic relationship with my old thought patterns. You're having a toxic relationship with your old thought pattern. And as I said, I just got, I was listening to somebody, I don't know, I was listening to a lot of videos, so I'm not even sure whose video or podcast it was at this point. And they just repeated that, like, if you're fixated on how to create the money, the perfect relationship, the perfect body, if you're fixated on the how to, you're fixated on the wrong thing. The thing is, You've got a mindset that is in contradiction to that. You're not aligning. Let that be your focus. And then when you get a new nudge, a new idea, right? Because you'll start to get new ideas. You'll start to be exposed to new things. We call that the synchronicity. I call it the magic a lot. The magic is something pops into your world that you couldn't have done on your own, right? You meet somebody new, you run into an old friend, or your phone rings and it's a new offer of some kind. You got to be willing to go with it. You got to be willing to go with it. If not, the old mind will pick back up again and tell you the story about why you can't have it. But you can. You can. Your mind might tell you otherwise. But when new opportunities start popping in, new people start popping up, do you shrink back? Or are you ready to move forward? All right, so I'll offer you this video, this meditation, reflection and meditation on this January 1, 2025, because I know a lot of people, they want something new and they take the opportunity of January 1 to get out their planners, get a new journal. They have all the ideas of all the things they're going to do differently. But what they haven't considered is, what is the old programming that is beleaguering me? What is the old programming? And you might say, do I really have to go back into that? Yes, we really have to go back into it because it literally sabotages us. It literally does. So yes, we got to go back into that. Now, some people want help. I'm a life coach, so every January 1, people reach out because people want something else. People want something more and they want help with it. So, I'm opening up a few spots for consultations and coaching. I don't do a whole lot of one-on-one coaching anymore, but in January, I do tend to open up some more spots. So I'm going to leave a link in the description, and you can set up a consultation with me. And what we'll do is at least help you get clarity and make some decisions about where you want to go next. Get some clarity, make some decisions. I'll give you some homework so you can start understanding, what is that pattern that I've been stuck in. Some people say, I don't know. Well, look at your life. Your life is a reflection. But that's what we can do in that consultation. So I will put the link in the description box, and I hope you are off and running with some positivity in your life. Don't let us get so caught up in the chaos out here that we forget that we actually are the creators of our own experience. So I hope that you are bringing some high vibe into your world and creating your life the way you want it. Bye for now.